Last but not least, we're going to be talking about accounting. So the reason we got together to do this project is that we kept reading a lot about decision-making in accounting, and our previous projects have dealt with actually the ethical aspects of it, the whole cognitive process that accountants go through when making tough decisions. But then we came across the issue of technology over and over again. So we decided to take a more careful look at this. Motivation for the study was that accountants traditionally perform a very important role of guaranteeing that society is getting true reports from organizations. Also within organizations, that decision makers have the information they need, and that information is relevant, is reliable, and so forth. So there is a professional responsibility. But there is also the reality that, especially in small CPA firms, they have to make payroll. They have to get the business going. So there's a tension in the literature that's summarized as professionalism versus commercialism. So the tension is then probably altered with AI. So we are asking ourselves two important questions. What types of decisions are most influenced by the use of accounting aided by artificial intelligence, and then how AI will change this tension between the two, professional responsibility and responsibility towards the business.
And there are, of course, lots of people studying the big firms, with the big money. But what we thought was interesting is what happens in this context to the market position of small firms, and how does this phenomenon apply in small firms? Up to a couple of years ago, this was a completely irrelevant question because they simply did not have access to the technology. But what surprised us was that actually now it is possible. There is already off-the-shelf AI that has a product for auditing, specifically for small firms, and that prices that product within the grasp of a small firm. And we put this picture there so you could have a feeling that when we talk small firm, a small CPA firm, this is it, folks. Right? It's like a strip mall, and if you notice, there are 3 parking spaces empty in front of it. So it's not exactly like people are fighting to get there. Although they are very successful, but they are very successful in the traditional CPA environment. Okay, they are in the outskirts of Washington, D.C. They have that stable group of clients, but now that the big companies have access to this technology, can do the same thing much better, much faster, they are threatened. And we think this little firm, she looks so much like an accountant, doesn't she? This brilliant woman, we call her young because she's in her 40s. White hair, both of us. So, and I don't know if you can see, she has a little bit of pink in her hair. It's because of breast cancer in her family, and she is an first person. She reminds us so much of the UB ethos. She's first in her family to go to college. She went to University. Oh, my shoulders hurt. She went to University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, first community college, then Eastern Shore, and she is. Long story short, she attended a meeting. That meeting, somebody, because I see the 1 minute. In that meeting, somebody mentioned that. KPMG was using AI. She found it fantastic. She called their software provider. Do you have anything like that for a firm of our size? And the guy said, cute question, bye. But nevertheless, she persisted. And she found this company, MindBridge, a Canadian firm that as you can see here, this is it. These are the guys. guys is the operative word there. Who had just developed a brand new product off the shelf that would allow a company like that to use it for auditing. She contacted them, they didn't love her, they worked with her in the price, and now she is an incredibly well-recognized person in the field in terms of using very innovative with this kind of technology.
So Samantha, well, can we do one more slide?
One more slide.
One more slide. Samantha revolutionized the way the company was doing auditing with the use of AI. She was named by CPA.com Most Innovative Auditor of the Year. She's president of the Maryland Association of CPAs. I mean, she's a leader in the field. And what we wanted to highlight with this last slide is what exactly changed in the way she was doing audits. So first step is in risk planning, an auditor has to decide, do I take this client or not? Usually the client only discloses a very small amount of information. In this case, she said, I want to have the whole universe, all transactions downloaded into the AI system. And I'm going to decide before I even write a contract if I want to work with you guys or not. So that's something that was unavailable to her before AI was around. Second was how to price, and Regina mentioned the issue of pricing, because the riskier the client, the more effort you have to put into analyzing transactions that might have difficult interpretations. And finally, the whole issue of trying to identify if transactions were reported correctly. With AI, she can use, again, all of the transactions, and then the software places them into 3 buckets according to risk, high, medium, low. And that allows her to focus her attention, especially focus limited time and talent that she will have in her company. And with this, she said, for the first time, she feels confident that the audit opinion that she issues is based on reality instead of just guesstimations. So happy.